point of view, what I would come in is say, all right, let's see if we can offset all the common area electricity for these 3 buildings. I have no idea how much that is. You told me to guess about, estimate about 7 per month. So that's what I put the proposal together with. So this, I'll leave this with you. I can send you digital copies too. But this is, tells 3 pages, tell a little bit about the company. But then it gets to the point here, and this is just to show you how commercial is structured, so what you could expect. But I don't think most of it's going to apply. So right here, this page is your utility without solar. We plugged in just an estimate of what you're paying now. That brings us to the $7,000 per month. And then the next page we put in, based on your roof space for this building, how much of that we could eliminate. And you can see there's enough space to eliminate all of that $7,000 a year. So we call it offset. We could offset 100% of the common area electricity space, if in fact it's $700 a month, maybe more, maybe less. And then what we go through, we probably do this for each building. Now, based on that, I put together an offer letter. Like I say, now that I see it, it'll probably be each building. But this is combined to eliminate the $700 common area electricity in total, if it was in fact that. So the size would be 22.54 kilowatts, which doesn't mean anything. But typically, if this was commercial and not homeowners association, the price for that whole system, without any incentives, would be $85,382. Now, with commercial, what we could do, what you would be able to do, is get these 5 different incentives from the government. The first one is a renewable energy credit, which is $20,000. Then there's a federal tax credit, which is 30% of the total spent, which is $25,000. You can set also, a business could do depreciation, both state and federal depreciation. And then there's also in New Hampshire, commercial and industrial incentive. So if it was a straight business, you could take all 5 of those, and the net price would be, instead of paying $85,000, you pay $7,000 over the course of the 30 years. Some of those are up front you get, some of them they go over 25 years, some go over 5, some go over 10. But because it's set up as an HOA, you don't show any, an HOA doesn't show any profits. So therefore they don't pay any taxes. So therefore you can't take advantage of depreciation on your tax return. You also don't qualify for the 30% federal tax credit. Now we think in the future the government, the IRS is going to allow you to qualify, but right now there's no way to take advantage of it. So if you put all these together and try to do it as one central HOA, there's going to be an $85,000 cost, with the only incentive you'd be able to get is this small renewable energy credit, which comes out to about $4,000 a year. You get a check back from the utility. So there's no big, it's about the worst possible scenario for either residential or commercial. Now there is a way around that, it's just a little more involved, is that each individual business, I could put together a proposal for each business to eliminate their electric bill. All right, so say you've got one business up front. I would go out and see how many panels we can fit on the roof, and hopefully that would be enough to eliminate all their electricity, put together a separate proposal to give to them, and then they could take advantage of the 30% tax credit, federal depreciation, state depreciation, the renewable energy credit, all 5 incentives. So then it makes it very, very attractive for that one business on the first building. I would suggest we do that with each building, and then go to the middle building, where however many tenants is 4 meters, but where I put together a proposal to try to offset all of the businesses' electric bills individually. And what we can do, if we do it that way, is we offset the main meter, like we connect the wires to the main meter to eliminate that bill. And then any additional electricity that's generated would get credited to all 4 of the other customers. So that would eliminate their electric bills too. And we can do the same thing here. But in order to do that, I would need each individual meter's bill, because that tells me the rate, it tells me the history, how much usage, and then I send that all to our design and engineering and come back with the specific prices. So to make a long story short, I put together a proposal like it was all one combined business, because we do a lot of business, especially in New Hampshire, a lot of businesses that'll be 3, 4, 5 buildings, but it's usually one electric meter, one big electric bill, and we can offset it that way. Once we run into more than one, once we run into homeowners, HOAs, whether it's residential or commercial, we're not allowed to apply for any of those credits. So I know that's a kind of a convoluted explanation. The HOAs are very, very confusing. The IRS still hasn't figured out how to allow the individual homeowner association member, whether it's residential or commercial, to get that 30% tax credit. But we can do it individually. If we want to do that, like if you wanted me to work with each business owner, put together a proposal, and then they would pay for their own solar installation. All they would need to do is ask, well, however you run, whether you have trustees or directors, but they just have to get permission from the trustees to put the appropriate number of panels on their buildings. And then I'd work just with them like it was a resident I was going to, or a business just for that building. Just work with them. So the good news is, it'd be able to, each owner, if they decide they want to do it, would be able to take advantage of all 5 incentives that New Hampshire offers. But they would pay for it on their own. So it wouldn't affect anybody else. So each individual business could make their own decision. Do I want to eliminate my electric bill with solar or not? It's as easy as that. Because I would think, especially in this building, if there are in fact 9 tenants, I know there's 9 meters, or 8 tenants, or 8 electric bills, the bills may be so small that it doesn't make sense to go through all the, if we're talking like 100, 150 a month, it's probably not worth all the aggravation going through the incentive. But each individual building with the incentives involved, there's usually like a 3-year payback. So it's a quick payback because there's so many incentives. So what comes to your mind? Anything? So that would be it.